spectacular campsites on the most remote of tracks, to the workshop and everything in between. Your next episode of Great Off-Road Adventures is just seconds away.
Hey guys, it's Graham from Great Off-Road Adventures here. In this video we're going to cover sand recovery techniques. So as you can see, I've bogged the 200 on the beach here. Fortunately for me, I'm out here today with a good mate of mine, Luke, and we're going to show you the safe way to use a KINETIC recovery strap or a snatch strap, and ways in which you can join straps together. And we're also going to show you how to use your Maxtrax, treads, Tread Pro, recovery boards in general. So with the way the car's bogged now, let's get it out. I think we'll go and use the snatch strap first, and then we'll come back and use the Maxtrax later. Well, this is the recovery gear we're going to use today in this situation to get my car out. The first piece is the equalizer strap. This will connect the two front rated recovery points, and it'll make a triangle, so it'll distribute the forces down each side of the chassis when we go and pull the car out. To connect the equalizer strap to the recovery points, we obviously need two shackles. And then in here is my new KINETIC recovery rope. I've also got some soft shackles, but all my recovery points have got square edges. So I'm reluctant to use those on my square edges. It does say on the tag not to use it on sharp recovery points. So given mine all got square edges, I don't want to use the soft shackles on them. But it's something I'm looking at possibly rectifying, perhaps looking at what recovery points are on the market that have rounded edges for soft shackles. So then the other shackle will go onto the back of Luke's car, and then the rope. And of course the last thing you need is a DAP blanket, or a towel or a jumper, something that if the strap was to break or a shackle was to fail, a piece of hardware was to fail, where it drop the strap to the ground and do the least amount of damage possible. So we'll get that out now as well. And obviously a recovery blanket like I touched on before. And of course the last piece of recovery gear that I would take to every situation is a shovel. This should be the first item that you grab out when you get bogged. And the reason why is you've just got to clear that whatever's holding you up, the sand, the mud, if it's under your car or in front of your tyres. So here today we're going to dig out in front of the tyres, make a little ramp for the tyres to come back up, lift me up out of the sand when we get pulled with the strap. So 5 minutes on the shovel is probably going to save you 20 minutes when the car that's pulling you out gets bogged in the sand because you haven't done some prep work. So with the equalizer strap, obviously the first eye gets hooked to the first recovery point over here. As with all shackles that you ever do up, all metal shackles, go fully tight, come back half a turn so they don't bind up when you load them up. So next thing to do, to minimize the amount of hardware, is to actually feed this strap through the eye of your snatch strap or recovery rope. So we'll throw that out there, feed it through. That's one less piece of hardware that you need. Put that eye where the protective sleeve is. And then with your shackle, hook the equalizer strap up to the other side. If you only have one recovery point on the front, obviously you can do away with the equalizer strap and just use the recovery strap straight to that point. So now we've prepared everything on my car, we'll get Luke's car into place and we'll do the last bit there and we'll get out. So remember, make sure you use your shovel, dig away the sand in front of your tyres. If you're bottomed out, dig away a bit of sand under your diff or under your fuel tank if you can, and then obviously set up the best solution to recover your car. Using rated recovery points on the front. Mine costs $85 or $90 a point, so for less than $200 I know that I've got rated recovery points on the front of my car that will stand up to the forces of getting recovered here. So that's the biggest thing, is whenever you get bogged, getting yourself out, safety is always the #1 priority.
Have a look where Luke stops. He stops in line with the end of the snatch strap. What that allows us to do is to put a little S-band with the excess from the strap, and it gives him the perfect amount of run-up required to pull me out.
So again guys, we use the rated recovery point here on the back of Luke's 200. It's one of the tow ball hitch receivers. It goes into the tow bar, put the pin through it. I think these are rated up to 4.5 tons, so comfortably enough to pull my car out. Obviously hooked up, shackle done up, come back half a turn. We'll put the recovery blankets on and then we'll get out of here.
Have a look at the way that the strap is laid out. This is the S shape that I was talking about earlier on. Just means the strap's not going to get tangled up on itself or not itself when Luke takes off and goes to pull me out.
Well guys, we're in the car now, which means we're close to getting ready to get pulled out by Luke. Again, I'm going to touch on the safety point. It's absolutely paramount that it's the #1 priority in all recovery situations. All too often when you get bogged, you attract a bit of an audience, and so now when we go to the stage of actually using one car to pull another car out, it's the most dangerous point. This is where stuff goes wrong and it has severely injured and killed people in the past. So if you have a bit of an audience, or you've got wife, kids, perhaps a third or fourth vehicle with you, absolutely 110% make sure that there is no one within 3 strap lengths of this recovery strap, or whichever recovery strap you're using in the recovery situation. Make sure there's no one in front of the vehicle and no one behind the vehicle in a straight line either, because a piece of metal that breaks off, it's going to fly in those 2 directions. So with that being said and done, I've connected all the recovery straps. Luke's checked them all out because it's his vehicle that's pulling me out, and for his peace of mind, that's the correct way of doing things, is have one person hook it all up, have another person, preferably the 2 drivers of the vehicles, check that all the points are rated, all the shackles are adequately rated, and the straps, it's all done up correctly, that there's no damaged straps or anything, and then when you're both happy, you can go ahead with the recovery. So that's where we're at now. The cars are set up, seatbelts on. Luke's going to go in 1st gear low range, I'm going to go in 2nd gear low range, and I'll explain why after we've recovered the car. You there, Luke?
Yeah, mate.
Okay, mate, when you're ready, start rolling and I'll start spinning. 1st gear low range for you, 2nd gear for me.
Copy that, mate.
Okay, mate, ready when you are. Perfectly done, mate. You can stop there. And that's how easy it is, guys. There was no big jerk, nothing. Just a gentle lead in from Luke, and then obviously as he started to roll, I got my tyres spinning, and then that sort of pulled me up, and then because I had the tyres spinning, we had the momentum to continue going. So easy as. Let's get out, disconnect it, keep on going.
When you watch it again, you can see that you don't need a big run up and you don't need to go a million miles an hour. That's why I recommend the recovering vehicle uses first gear low range and the bogged vehicle uses second gear low range. It means that Luke doesn't build up too much speed, and it means that when I get popped out, I have that little bit extra momentum by being in the slightly higher gear.
Alright, well, now that we've dealt with the snack straps, let's show you how to use your Maxtrax or treads, recovery boards, let's call them. So, we've turned Luke around, we've gotten him bogged now. He's not properly bogged. He could probably go backwards and forwards gently and drive out, but it's a good situation to show you when you should use your Maxtrax. You shouldn't be using your Maxtrax after you're fully bogged. Like if you're stuck on the chassis, it's really difficult to use your Maxtrax. You're gonna have to get your shovel out and do a lot of shoveling. When you should be using your Maxtrax is when you feel yourself struggling and starting to get bogged. That's when you want to stop, let a little bit more air out of your tires, chuck your Maxtrax in and get going again. All right, so this is the perfect situation. Luke stopped before he's got himself completely bogged. Makes it a bit easier for us, a bit less shovel work. Throw the Maxis in and get out.
Even though the Maxtrax are designed that you can use them as a shovel, nothing beats a long handle shovel for getting bulk of the dirt out of the way nice and quick.
The key with Maxtrax is to spend an extra minute clearing the sand away sort of underneath the tyre. All that sand there, that's got to come out. You want to see it like that. You want to be able to get right in underneath the tyre and then lodge the board in underneath it.
Well, as you can see, the long handle shovel is definitely easier to use than the Maxtrax. Plus, it doubles up for a heap of chores around camp as well. It's the reason why I always carry one. It's easy to get to, and I'll always use it in a recovery situation. Well, if we watch that again, you can see why it's worth putting in a little bit of extra effort on the shovel. It makes it super easy to get out. Luke just gently drives up onto the Maxtrax. Once he's up on them, puts a little bit of momentum in, carry him through the soft sand, and he's out. It's as simple as that.
Well guys, you're probably wondering why I'm at home to show you the last bit about joining straps together instead of being at the beach. Well, quick story, after we finished with the Maxtrax and the Snatch strap down on the beach, we packed all the gear up and we decided, Luke and I, just to go into a little section of dunes where we were going to be out of the wind a little bit, show you how the Snatch straps can get joined together, put the awning out, have a bite of lunch, and then head on with the rest of the afternoon. But coming off of the beach, we hit a minor snag. We came across a beach exit that I wasn't familiar with, we hadn't done before, and it was like a Y, so a single track coming down and a split left and right onto the beach. So we've come up one arm. It was a bit windblown. It's a sort of windblown section of track that I've done 100 times in the past at various other places, where there's just a bit of a sand blow across the track, you just go up and over it. Done that. But on the other side it was pretty narrow and I just couldn't turn the car around the corner quick enough. It's gotten wedged across the track. Could go forwards and backwards a little bit, so that's what I was doing, trying to turn it. And in doing so, I think combination of old age and probably not being in the best position, I ended up breaking a CV joint. The day went from a nice informative educational day to how the hell do we get the car out of here now? It's in two-wheel drive, it's heavy, it's on soft sand, all the way back to Perth to get repaired. So we managed to do that. We managed to use the winch to turn me sideways, and then we've
dumped the tyre pressures down to 8 psi, grabbed the recovery rope out. Luke's pulled me up over that dune back onto the harder inland tracks, the firmer I should say inland tracks, and then yeah, we've managed to disconnect the rope and I've been able to drive out in two-wheel drive, obviously get back to main road, put some air in and get back to Perth. So yeah, not great, but these things happen. So anyway, big thank you to Henderson Mechanical Services. I dropped the car off there that afternoon, picked it up 2 days later. 2 new CV shafts, both genuine factory Toyota ones. Went for that option because the ones that are in there have been in there for 10 years. It's been lifted its entire life, this car. It's done 250,000 Ks, so all those factors, they all add up to probably the end result. What can you do about it? Not much. The spare CV shaft that I've got, the good one that didn't break, I'm going to carry as a spare. So on the bigger trips, if this is to happen, I could change it. But you know, how often do you go away to a location that's within an hour of the city or an hour of home and throw in spare CV shafts? You just don't. So there's not much you can do about it. But anyway, let's get on with the rest of the video and show you how to join 2 straps together using a block of wood or a newspaper, or even a recovery blanket if you got a few extra ones so they don't bind up. And I'll show you another way when you don't have those options available to you. So obviously this is if you need to join 2 snatch straps or a snatch strap and a winch extension strap, just to give you extra length. Say it's quite soft and boggy, and you don't want your second vehicle to get bogged trying to pull the first car out, you can use a second strap, lengthen the distance between them, give them a better chance of making a successful recovery and not having 2 cars bogged. So what I've got here is just an old equalizer strap and an old tree trunk protector. I've picked these 2 because they're bright in colours and they're a little bit shorter, so it's a bit easier for me to show you how to join them together. Obviously, I'm going to show you 2 techniques here. The technique where you wedge it you wedge the straps open so they don't bind up with a log or a magazine or recovery blanket, sort of whatever you can fit that's going to stop them from binding up. And then obviously I'm going to show you a new technique that's come around thanks to you know, inventors and modern technology, and that's using a soft shackle. So let's start with the basic technique first. The easiest way I found to make sure you get this right is to lay your 2 straps parallel and use the eye from one strap and the eye from the other strap. So here we'll get the eye of the green strap, feed it through the yellow strap, pull it through, and then at the other end you want to do the opposite way. You want to get the eye of the yellow strap, feed it through the green strap, pull it through. Then obviously as you pull it down, you want to see sort of a circle forming. This circle here in the middle is what you need to wedge open to stop them from binding up. So you need to pull it down. You can just do that and pull, but this joint is going to bind up, pull up so tight, you will never ever get it open again. It's impossible. I've never seen anyone get one open after it's been pulled tight with a recovery. If you own both snatch straps and you're happy for them to forever be joined together again, sure, you can. Certainly this is what I'd be doing if I have no other option. Never ever join them with a metal shackle. I've learned that the hard way, but I'll cover that story at the end. If this is all that you can do to join the 2 straps, this is what you got to do. Leave the metal out of it, let it bind up. It's like 50 bucks to replace a snatch strap with a middle of the road reasonable quality one, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than replacing damaged bits and pieces on cars. And if that metal shackle flies through and kills someone in a car, that's irreplaceable. So
If you have to do it this way, you can, but obviously if you want to be able to get the straps apart, you need to wedge something in that hole. Enter the block of wood, or the magazine, or newspaper that's rolled up. Just put it in there, let the straps tighten up around it, and that's what you've got. So, give you a close up. That's what you're looking for there. The block of wood to go through that hole that I was showing you before. Then obviously, as a result, you've got joint straps. Good to go. That works well. Block of wood gives you a little bit of leverage to get them undone again. Then you can pull it out, and then pulling them apart, you just pull the one strap out, and they're apart. So pretty straightforward, pretty easy to achieve. The other technique that I want to show you, this has come about, obviously, like I was saying, with the way that technology is going, that now you can use a soft shackle to join your straps. So these are new to me. These are the Carbon Winches soft shackles. They weigh less than 100 grams. So in terms of using it like this, it's perfectly fine. You're not going, this isn't going to turn into a metal projectile like a metal shackle will. And they're rated, this one here, for 1400 kilograms. So comfortably enough to join two straps together, that's for sure. So it's pretty straightforward. Through one eye, through the other eye, and then open your loop up, put it over the knot or the monkey fist, and let it tighten up, and there you go. All done. Obviously a hell of a lot easier to get the straps apart like this as well. As simple as that. So I'm going to give you a close-up look at these soft shackles in a second when I talk about the KINETIC recovery rope we used in the snatch strap demo as well. This is all new gear that I've received from Carbon Winches, and I really want to promote it and just show you guys how good it is, because the options it gives you is absolutely endless, and yeah, super easy to use. It's made strong, durable for longevity as well. So let's go up to the car now, where I can lay the gear out the tailgate. I can show you why I reckon it's good, and I'll tell you a story about where I would love to have had one of these things a few years ago. Well guys, that's how you join your snatch straps together safely, by either looping them together or by using a soft shackle. This, I reckon, is my new favourite way of doing it. It's just a lot easier to put it together, a lot easier to get it apart, and obviously it doesn't rely on you carrying something to stop the straps from binding up. You know, it's all well and good to do a demo in your back garden where you can get a little block of wood, but when you're on the beach somewhere and you don't have a block of wood, you're not carrying any newspaper or magazines, and you're going to use your recovery blanket to dampen the straps if it was to break, it doesn't really give you or leave you anything that you can put in those two straps to stop them from binding up. So I was touching on before, if that's the case, you don't have anything to put in there, just let them bind up. It's like $50 to buy a new snatch strap for a moderate quality one, a reasonable quality one. Go Harvey's with your mate, and you know, so be it. It's cheaper to replace a $50 snatch strap than it is to replace parts on your car that break by wearing a metal shackle. I've got first-hand experience with that, where we had a car get bogged in the Warren River. It was a culmination of errors that were made. If we had have stopped and rectified any one of those errors, it would have been a completely different result. We wouldn't have had the strap break, wouldn't have had the shackle come in through the rubbish bag and destroy the rim that was hanging on the back of my car. But at the same time, I'm bloody lucky that that's where it did hit, because it could have quite easily gone higher and come in through the back window, been bounced around with the cab in with me, could have taken my head off, seriously injured or killed me. So don't ever put a recovery strap over a tow ball. That's not what it's designed for. They do break off. There are heaps of articles out there of people dying or getting seriously injured from tow balls snapping off and coming back as a projectile. And if you need to join two straps together, don't ever use a metal shackle, because the same thing will happen. It might not be the shackle that breaks, it might not be the strap that breaks, it might be the equalizer strap, which is what happened in my case, or it might be recovery point, or who knows what's going to break. But that metal shackle sitting in that line there with those snatch straps stretched out, it's just going to come like a shotgun bloody round. It's just going to come in there and absolutely destroy anything in its path. So don't ever do it. Enough talking about that. I just want to quickly talk about these new carbon winches products that I've got to test out. Obviously these soft shackles that I was showing you before. Thanks to modern technology and things getting better, we now have soft shackles. You know, it wasn't all that long ago we were using wire rope on our winches. Now we've gone to Dyneema rope and synthetic rope. So, you know, this stuff here is strong, it's tested, it's good to go, and it's a lot safer and a lot easier to use than a metal shackle. I reckon I can get this done up or undone a lot quicker than a metal shackle, and obviously it's a lot safer, and it can be used in situations like I showed you to join two straps together, because this isn't going to become a projectile like a metal shackle will. So what I'm going to do with this stuff here is I'm going to do a comprehensive quick review on it in a couple months time, hopefully once I've used it on a few more occasions. Same goes with the KINETIC recovery rope. I obviously featured this in the recovery, how to use a snatch strap or recovery rope, but again I'm going to use it a handful more times and then do a comprehensive quick review on my thoughts on them. But if you want some more information or you're intrigued by it, you'll find in the description below this video a link to the Carbon Winches and Off-Road Facebook page, also their website directly to the recovery rope and the soft shackles, so you guys can go and have a look at them. The day that we went to the beach, Luke and I, obviously it didn't end as planned, but you know, we still got what we needed to show you guys how to safely use the recovery gear, and that's the most important thing. And it's actually allowed me an opportunity now to sit here and talk about what to do and what not to do. So anyway guys, happy safe adventuring. Hopefully we'll see you in another video now in 2019. If you've enjoyed watching this video, I've got a heap on my channel already, and there's obviously going to be heaps more to come, so make sure you subscribe right here, like the video, drop us a comment, give us your feedback and thoughts, and we'll see you in another one. So happy safe adventuring guys, see you next time.